conspiracy theory, there's two levels of conspiracy theory. One level of conspiracy is simply that the black population gets a bad deal from society, that the white population is not equal and fair to the black population. That's a broad conspiracy theory. A more particular theory is that the CIA, and with the help of other government agencies, were the ones that brought cocaine to the community. And for many, many years now, cocaine has been the major drug which has been viewed as the core of the criminal activity in Oakland. And there's a lot of people that believe that the cocaine was in fact brought here by the federal government, one of its agencies, and even though distributed locally by local people, the source of the drugs was provided by the federal government.
Based on what you know about the prison system, you would think that black men were the only one that commit crimes. But I know for a fact that that's not true. Because where I grew up in an all-white neighborhood, okay? And those kids had more drugs than anyone in town because they had they had money to buy drugs, okay? And the truth is that drugs are however many billion-dollar industry. They don't have however many $1 billion in the ghetto. They don't have $90 billion in the ghetto, okay? And, you know, the fact is black people aren't shipping drugs into the country. Okay, but they're the ones that are going to jail for drugs, okay? So you can't say that there's not a conspiracy to put us in jail.
You never or very rarely find the police arresting major narcotic vendors. You rarely find prosecution of people that are the direct importers of substantial amounts of narcotics. Now, it's true from the local level that a number of those people that do get arrested are prosecuted in federal court and therefore not seen at the local level. But having seen literally tens of thousands of drug cases, it's rare that anyone who's being arrested who is very high up the chain. You're either dealing with somebody who is the direct person standing on the street corner selling hand-to-hand to cars and passerbys, a very low-level soldier in the drug trade, where you might have somebody who has a couple of lieutenants or has some somewhat higher position. So it looks like they are, in a very limited way, distributing some of the narcotic to other sellers. And even that group is very small. So it just looks like who's ever bringing the drugs in, which is the people you think would be the most focused people for prosecution and police investigation, never get caught. And that leaves a suspicion in people's mind that somehow the drug providers, major providers, are protected somehow. And that's why they don't get prosecuted.
Are they protected? I mean,
I have no idea.
Why don't they get prosecuted?
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like with all these laws and everything that being so harsh on us for petty stuff, they don't want to give us a chance. They'll give you a gang of time, you know, just to get rid of you and fill up these prisons so they can make their money. You know, and since I've been older, that's what I've been realizing. It's all about money. It's all about money.
How can 1% of the population convince the other 99% to allow a system to continue in which the richest 1% owns almost half the country? Well, one way that can be achieved is by having as high a rate of crime and violence as possible. How does this work? Most of the crimes, the violent crimes that are committed by the very poor. That gets the middle class very angry at the lower class. And it deflects anger away from the upper class. But it also gets the lower class fighting among itself, because most poor people don't commit violent crimes, but most of the victims of violent crimes are poor people. So it gets one group of poor people angry at the other group of poor people. So again, their anger goes toward each other and gets deflected away from anger at the very rich, who are the people who are actually picking the pockets of both the middle class and the lower class. I'm not just making this up.